On-the-job training report at PT Pertamina EP Field, Cepu Distrik 1 Kawengan, 13th January until 20th February 2020, compiled by Yogi Aditya Kurniawan. Acknowledgement. Thanks we are devoted to Allah Almighty, who has bestowed all His favor in Hidayat, so that we can complete the field work practice report titled Lifting Method Annual Data at PT Pertamina EP Field Cepu, Distrik 1 Kawengan. Smoothly done well. The field work practice report I was taking when implementing the PIL for 2 months. At the time of work practice, I gained a lot of experience and knowledge that could not be obtained at school. In this report, there are knowledge and technology on the method of lifting of the District 1 in the Kawengan field of PT Pertamina EP. Asset 4 Field Cepu. This report is prepared to fulfill the text of field work practice in accordance with the curriculum of SMK Mega Cepu. We realize that this report can be good and perfect thanks to the help of some parties, but material assistance, knowledge, and passion and motivation. For that, we would like to thank you to 1. Mr. Cahyono Hani Wijayanto, as well checker, Mr. Sungkono, as well checker, Mr. Jarum, as well checker, Mr. Trioni Hadi, as well checker, Mr. Faisal Amin, as well checker, Mr. Swastono, as well checker. Pertamina EP Asset 4 Field Cepu Profile. Pertamina EP Asset 4 is a subsidiary of Pertamina EP, which is responsible for holding the working area of several Indonesian port based in Surabaya. The field is held by PEP assets for such as the Cepu Field, Field Sukawati, Field Poleng, Field Papua, Field Donggi Matindok, and Unitesi Tiungbiru. Cepu is district in Blora Country, Central Java Province, which is directly adjacent to the province of East Java. The area of Cepu is 4,897.43 km, as a population of 369 inhabitants. The Cepu area has long been known as a natural resource producing region such as earth, oil, and gas. Even before Indonesia became independent, the Cepu region had been used by the Dutch as their oil producer. Initially, the oil field area in Cepu was first discovered by a national scientist, and the birth of the Belanda Andrian Stoop in 1080 in 1880 in Ledok village, Cepu. Andrian Stoop did the first drilling in Ledok village in 1873 using traditional tools. Subsequently, the Dutch companies net Batasche Petroleum Maatschappij built the first oil refinery at Cepu in 1874. Production process. Lifting method. Artificial lift method is an appointment made with the help of equipment as a source of energy. This is due to the low reservoir pressure from the well, so it is not able to remove natural petroleum. In the method of lifting crude oil, there are various types of tools and how they work, such as vacuum pump or sucker pump, and then electrical submersible pump, ESP, then gas lift, jet pump, hydraulic pumping unit, HPU, and progressive cavity pump, PCP. Artificial lift method in District 1 Kawengan are divided into 3 types. First type is sucker pumping unit as RP, and then electrical submersible pump, then hydraulic pumping unit. The first pump is sucker pump. A sump pump or a sucker pump is pump that is specially designed to transfer fluid from the surface of the soil. This pump uses pistons as the main component for sucking fluid from within the soil. These pumps are typically used in oil drilling. Advantage and disadvantage of sucker pumps. 1. Excess of sucker pumps are A. Not easily broken. B. Easily repaired in the field. C. Flexible to production rate, fluid depth, and speed can be adjusted. D. The price is relatively cheap. 2. Disadvantages of a sucker pumps are 1. Heavy and need to place area. Transportation is difficult. B. Not good for sloped wells. C. Need a large unit once for the large production rate and deep well. Short type of pumping unit. According to the American Petroleum Institute or API standards, pumping unit can be different into 3 types as follows. 1. Air balanced, 2. Mark II, and 3. Conventional. Standard or conventional types. And this type is Samsung post supports the walking beam at the center. Pumping unit type is most widely used in the petroleum industry and available in various sizes, some of which reach 100 horsepower. B. Low torque unit or Mark II. In this type, the Samsung post supports the walking beam at the rear end. At the same frame size, usually this unit requires less horsepower when compared to the conventional type. C. Air balance unit. In this type of compressed air tubes are used replacement counterweight. Pumping unit is smaller and lighter than other type of unit and equipped with air compressor. Sizes are made limited, but some reach 150 horsepower. Parts and main parts of pumping unit. In the outline suckerate pumping has the following main components. This is brake mover, brake cable, belt guard, and this walking beam, equalizer bearing, this is a pitman, this is a crank, this is pinhole, center, this is center or saddle bearing, this is a horse head, this is a Samsung post, this is a counterweight, this is the base, this is a raglan or a bridle. Okay, next. 1. Main equipment above surface pumping unit. Prime mover. Prime mover is an electric motor with a rotation of 800 until 1200 RPM that serves as the main mover of the entire series in the pump, whether that is on the surface or under surface. And then gear reducer. Gear reducer is a tool that serves to lower RPM motor into a pump SPM. In the gear reducer, there is an RPM gear lowering gears to move the power or energy from the prime mover to the gear reducer using the V-belt protected by the belt cover as a safety. Crank arm. Crank arm is a tool used to connect low round axis crankshaft that comes out of a gearbox that rotates 360 degrees. The hole in the crank also serves as the seat of the crank pin bearing that connects the crank with the pitman and places a long chain in the pump steps. The crank arm also serves as the place of the counterweight position. Pitman. Pitman is a liaison between the crank on the pitman bearing, which serves to forward the uptrend motion generated by the pitman and counterbalance of the range of pumps that are located inside the well through the rod. Yes, this is a pair of pitmen. Equalizer. It's a pitch of equalizer. Equalizer. The equalizer is the top position of the pitman that can move freely according to the needs of oil pumping operations. Walking beam. This is walking beam. Walking beam is a tool that serves as a rotary movement changer into a wheel's motion that is supported by the center bearings and Samson post. Horse head. This is a horse head. Horse head is placed at the tip of the walking beam with shape of 1 per 8 meter circle of rod movement of the string to rise down, reciprocating, remains centered with a wheel bar, carrier bar and land hanger, breather. This is carrier bar. This is land hanger or breather. Carrier bar and land hanger or breather serve to connect the horse head with polish rod using wire land hanger breather, which is associated with the carrier bar on the polish rod. To prevent the carrier bar from changing its position, it is detained by polish rod clamp. Stuffing box. This is a picture of stuffing box. Mounted on a well head function that serves as a deterrent or oil holder so that the oil does not spray out together, equal to the ups and downs of the polish rod so that the flow can be directed toward the flow line. In the stuffing box, there is a packing or rubber to resist oil leakage. Polish rod. This is picture of polish rod. Polish rod or white handlebar is handlebar connected between the shock rod circuit beneath the surface with the device pumping unit above the surface. Polish rod has a strength exceeding the shock rod because the polish rod holds the maximum load of the whole shock rod range. Polish rod has a slick and smooth surface and is made of hard steel. Counterbalance is a counterbalance. Counterbalance is a pair of weights that serve to assist the prime mover power at the upstroke when the counterbalance moves down as big the potential energy, because the biggest prime mover work is when the upstroke pump move up where a certain amount of oil is raised on the surface. 2. Main equipment parts under surface pumping unit. Pump. Subsurface pump. The undersurface sucker pumping equipment consists of 4 main components. There are working barrel, plunger, traveling valve, and standing valve. Subsurface pump components. Working barrel is a cylinder tube where the plunger rises. Plunger, which is a long piston made of metal stainless steel and moving up and down, according to the pumping principle, that serves to remove the fluid from the bottom of the wells to the turbine cone until the surface. Traveling valve, which is ball-shaped valve, which moves open and shut down and is located at plunger. Standing valve, which is a ball-shaped valve and is located at the bottom of the pump that serves to hold the fluid so as not to drop or exit the working bar at the stroke. Pipe or tubing. Tubing is a medium of fluid flow formation from the ground well to the surface. In the oil well with the method of lifting artificially sucker pump, tubing also functions as a place to hand pumps with type of tubing type. The length of tubing according to APA standard is divided into 2 ranges. The range 1 or first range, the length are 20 until 24 feet. Secondary range or range 2, the length are 28 until 32 feet. Connection type tubing. APA non-offset, external APA offset, atlas bird form at VAM. Next, gas anchor. Gas anchor is a tool is mounted on a series at well that serves to release oil, mitigate the occurrence of gas lock and production. Gas lock on a production well. Sucker. The sucker rod is a string of suction rods which is the seat of the plunger and serves to continue the motion up and down of the surface equipped to the undersurface pumping unit. Pony rod. Pony rod is a steel rod just like a sucker rod but has a short length. This is more short than then suck root. Poniard function to adjust the length of the suck root needed to suit the depth of the pump beneath the surface. Poniard size equals to suck root size. And 3. Operation pumping unit. A. Check before start. First, check V-valve, then check polish root, usable damage or rock-handed surface, then check all the valves starting from height to stations wherever it's open. Then install a good pressure gauge to know well pressure. Then last, check the entire unit including a bridle that almost broke. B. Procedure start. 1. Remove brake prime mover relationship with gear reducer. Then turn on the machine if it's prime move using the machine. Release the brake and insert the pumping unit connection with the engine. Then 4. Adjust the hardness of stuffing box so that it is not too tight so that there is less leakage for lubricant. And 5. Check and listen carefully to the valve pumping unit for loose valves, unusual noise, especially in bearings and gearbox. And then last, 6. Check the state of polish root for line up or not. 4. Daily routine check. 1. Check the pumping rate. If it's reduced, try to find out of cause it. 2. Listen for the prime mover sound which should be the same at the upstroke and downstroke. 3. Check the stuffing box for too tight or loose. 4. Check for loose foundation, pumping unit vibration, and extraneous noise in the pumping unit itself. 5. Oil the bearings in the pumping unit grease or lubricate according to what they should or not. 6. Check the motor load is balanced during upstroke with downstroke. Suck-root pumping. 3. Suck-root pumping unit problems. Suck-root pumping units problem. Problems that are often encountered in suck-root pumping so that it does not pump or does not pump at all. 1. Leaking traveling valve. 2. Leaking standing valve. 3. Damaged or worn plunger. 4. Working barrel worn. 5. Leaking tubing. 6. Gas lock. 7. Suck-root disconnects. Next pump. This electrical submersible pump or ESP. A basic definition of ESP. Electric submersible pump or ESP is a type of centrifugal pump driven by an electric motor designed to be able to be immersed in a working fluid source. The goal is to be able to avoid coefficient in the pump. This special design pump is used in special conditions as well, lifting water from source or springs that are in the ground, lifting fluid in the form of sludge or mud, and also lifting crude oil in the petroleum drilling process. B. Main parts of ESP equipment. In general, electrical submersible pump equipment can be divided into 2 parts, namely, there are major parts of the equipment on the ESP surface. Transformator. It is a tool to change the volt, which can be used to increase or decrease the voltage. This tool consists of a core surrounded by a coil of copper wire. Switchboard. Switchboard. The switchboard is for control panel on the surface when the pump is working, equipped with a motor controller, overload and underload protection, as well as a recording instrument that can work manually or automatically in the event of a deviation. Recording ammeter. The RAM is mounted on a complete clock device with a pen which will write down the amount of current the motor is experiencing. Junction box. The junction box is placed between the wellhead and the switchboard for safety reason. This is wellhead and it's a junction box. Major parts of equipment under the ESP surface. A. PSI unit, pressure sensing instrument. PSI or pressure sensing instrument is a device that records the pressure and temperature in the well. B. Electric motor. This type of electrical motor submersible pump is their fast to pole induction or electric motor filled with special lubricating oil that has high electrical resistance, the electrical strength. C. Protector. Protector or radar is a device used to protect in the pressure in the motor on the pressure in the annulus. Protector or radar is often called the seal section, central lift or equalizer (ODI). D. Intake. Intake is the entry of fluid from the bottom of the well to the pump to the surface. E. Pump unit. The pump unit is multi-stage central pump, which consists of impeller, diffuser, shaft, and housing. The working principle of this pump is that the fluid that enters the pump through in the intake will be received by the lowest stage of the pump. The impeller will push it in as a result of the centrifugal process. The fluid will be thrown out and received by diffuser. F. Electric cable. The cable is type of three conductors. The main function of the cable is as medium for transferring electric current from the switchboard to the motor in the well. The cable must withstand high voltage, temperature, gas migration pressure, and the state of fluid absorbed from the well. G. Check valve. The check valve is usually installed in the tubing 2 until 3 joint above the pump. It aims to keep the fluid above the pump. If the check valve is not installed, the fluid leaks from tubing through the pump, which can cause backflow of the fluid or flow back of the fluid upward because backflow. H. Centralizer. The check valve is usually installed in the tubing. Hydraulic pumping unit or HPU. A. Basic definition of hydraulic pumping unit or HPU. Hydraulic pumping unit HPU is a type of rod pump. Sucrot pump is used as an alternative to the artificial lift system. This pump is used if there is not enough gas in the well, so the gas lift system cannot be applied. Picture of hydraulic pumping unit. HPU pump advantage. It is easier to move and install from one well to the another because it does not require a foundation and simple setup techniques. Then changing the SPM and treadle length is easier. In changing the SPM, there is no need to change the pulley, and in determining the thread length, there is no need to use heavy equipment to shift the crank pinions in the nut pump. Then well optimization with the HPU tool can be done precisely and easily by checking the speed parameters and the pump step that can be done any time with a shorter time, so that production losses can reduce. Then the use of electricity is more efficient than the nut pump. Then reducing the risk of stuffing bulk leaks due to the placement of the hydraulic jack in the center. Then rental costs are cheaper than nut pump. HPU pump disadvantage. First, not suitable for large production. The limited well depth under 100 meters. Then less suitable for sloping and offshore wells. The working principle of HPU, hydraulic pumping unit, installation is as follows. High pressure hydraulic fluid from the power pack is pumped into the hydraulic jack to transmit pressure from the hydraulic fluid to an up-down motion in the hydraulic. From the hydraulic movement, the pulse rod continues to the shock rod and to the plunger, so that the plunger must move up and down, which is the step movement of the pump. If the plunger moves upward or upstroke, then under the plunger there will be pressure drop, so that the bottom wall pressure is greater than the pressure in the pump. This condition causes the standing valve to open and fluid to enter the pump. At the end of the upstroke volume below the plunger is completely filled with liquid, and when the plunger moves down or downstroke, the standing valve will close because the plunger is pressing on the fluid. At the same time, fluid will press the serving valve. The fluid will come out of the plunger and enter the tubing. This process takes place repeatedly, so that the fluid in the tubing will move up to the surface and flow the separator through the flow lane. Problems with the sucrose pump. Damage to sucrose pump was caused by problem with sand, rust, and gas. The parts that are damaged include plunger. The presence of sand or scale on the plunger causing it get stuck with the working barrel. Bowl is oval or not thrown, oval, due to sand, scale, and collision between ball and check wall. The working barrel becomes deflated. Stuffing box is leaking during misalignment during HPU pumping unit settings. Root broke because of corrosive fluid. The HPU equipment consists of a power pack, hydraulic jack, and subsurface equipment. 1. The power pack of function to pump hydraulic fluid to the hydraulic jack, which consists of the following components: electrical control box, flow control valve, system relay valve, tank valve mount, oil side gauge, manifold box, pressure switch, and pump. 2. Manual pumps are expected to be used in emergency operation and will require multiple sites to lift standard berries. There are pressure gauge, accumulator, pump, electric motor, EFO valve and coil, gas filter assembly, directional control valve, cabinet. 3. Equipment below surface. The function of sucrose pump equipment in the well is to help press the well fluid to the surface through the tubing. The sucrose pump unit consists of tubing and pump. The pump in the well consists of several components including working barrel, plunger, standing valve, serving valve, and last anchor. Closing. Conclusion. After the implementing of training job, the writer concluded that A. In job training, we can combine theory and practice in the actual field. In a little job training, we gain experience from the result of the practice. The implementation of the job training gives so many benefits to all of the students of vocational high school. Thank you.